All right, let's dive into a tool that's really, truly changing how we all write software. We're going to show you how to completely transform your coding workflow by mastering GitHub Copilot. We'll see how it evolves from just a simple helper into a genuine AI pair programmer right inside Visual Studio Code. So just stop and think about this for a second. What if your editor didn't just complete the line you're typing right now, but it actually knew the next logical edit you needed to make, maybe 3 functions away? Well, that's not science fiction anymore. That's exactly the journey we're on today. Now, before we really get into the weeds, let's just cover what you'll need. To follow along with everything we're about to see, you just need 2 things: the latest and greatest version of Visual Studio Code, and of course, an active GitHub Copilot subscription. That's it. Simple enough, right? Let's get started. Okay, let's break this down. At the heart of inline coding with Copilot, there are really 2 main concepts. On the left, you've got ghost text suggestions. This is the classic feature most of us know and love. It suggests completions right there at your cursor. But on the right, well, that's the future. It's called Next Edit Suggestions, or NES for short. This is where Copilot stops just finishing your thought and starts predicting your entire workflow. So let's start with the foundation, the thing this is all built on. The original ghost text. The best way to think about this is like your classic autocomplete, but, supercharged with a massive AI brain. It's autocomplete on steroids. So here's the basic play-by-play of how it works. As you start typing, say, a function, Copilot predicts the entire implementation and shows it to you as this kind of dimmed ghost text. And here's the magic. If that's exactly what you wanted, you just hit the tab key one time and poof, the whole block just materializes in your file. It's simple, it's fast, and it is incredibly efficient. But here's the thing, you're always in complete control. It's not an all or nothing kind of deal. You can actually accept a suggestion just word by word if you only like the first part of it. And what's really cool is the alternatives. If that first suggestion isn't quite right, you can just hover over it to see other ideas from the AI, cycling through different ways to tackle the same problem. Now, this is where you go from just taking suggestions to actually directing the AI. By writing a clear, descriptive human prompt right in your code comments, you can give Copilot explicit instructions. You can see right here, a simple prompt in plain English describing a student class. And that's all it takes. It's a perfect way to translate your thoughts directly into code. So this table right here, this is the perfect pivot point. It lays out the 2 worlds so clearly. On one hand, you have ghost text. It's triggered by typing, it looks like dimmed text, it works on your current line, and its main goal is just autocompletion. But then you have Next Edit Suggestions. That's triggered by editing your code. It uses these little visual cues, it works across your entire file, and its goal is to anticipate your whole workflow. All right, let's move on and see how this all gets to the next level. This is the evolution. Next Edit Suggestions. We're leveling up from just finishing your line to having an AI that literally anticipates your entire coding workflow. Okay, so here's the key insight. Most of our time as developers isn't spent writing brand new files from scratch, right? It's spent editing, refactoring, and tweaking what's already there. NES is built on that reality. It actually tracks the edits you're making and then predicts the logical cascade of changes that should happen in other parts of the file. And hey, if you want to turn this on right now, just flip that switch in the settings shown right there. Okay, that's enough theory. Let's see this thing in action. Get ready to witness some of the magic that truly predictive editing brings to the table for your day-to-day coding. This is such a great example of what we mean by changing your intent. Take a look. The developer adds a Z property to this point3D class. Instantly, NES knows this isn't just a small change. It kicks off a whole cascade, suggesting an update to the getDistance function to include that new Z coordinate in its calculation. I mean, think about it. That saves you from having to hunt down all the dependencies and maybe even introducing a bug. And it gets even smarter. NES can perform what we call cognitive corrections. In that top example, it catches a simple typo, swapping consts for the correct const. But look at the bottom example. This is what's really mind-blowing. It actually identifies a flawed logical operation, a super common mistake in a findMax function, and suggests the correct implementation. It's understanding your logic, not just your syntax. It's pretty amazing. So with all this power, you'd think the controls would be super complex, but they are beautifully simple. It's called the Navigate and Accept flow. When a suggestion appears, you press tab once, and boom, your cursor jumps right to the location of that future edit. If you like the change, you just press tab a second time to accept it. Navigate, then accept. That's all there is to it. Okay, so we've got this incredibly powerful tool working right alongside us. The final step is to make it truly yours. This is all about command and control, tailoring the AI so it fits your personal workflow like a glove. You've got some powerful controls right there in your status bar. Quick and easy. You can turn completions on or off for everything, or just for the language you're working in. And my personal favorite feature is snooze. If you really need to get in the zone for some deep focus coding, you can click this to silence all the suggestions for 5 minutes. It's all about having the AI there when you want it and quiet when you don't. Let me give you a couple pro tips for getting the most out of Copilot. First, it uses all of your open files to understand the context of your project. So keeping related files open is going to give you much, much better suggestions. Second, for you power users out there, you can press F1, bring up the command palette, and actually change the underlying large language model, switching between engines like GPT-4 or Codex to see which one works best for you. And to wrap things up, here is the ultimate configuration cheat sheet. This is your big takeaway. You can use these settings in VS Code to customize pretty much everything. For example, you can change the look with editor.inlinesuggest.font family, or you can even tweak the core logic by using github.copilot.advanced to add a tiny delay before suggestions pop up. This is how you really fine-tune the experience to your exact liking. So we've seen this incredible evolution, right? From simple autocomplete to an AI that anticipates our entire workflow and even corrects our logic. It really leaves us with one final big question to think about. As your AI pair programmer evolves from being just an assistant into a true co-author, what does it really mean to write code anymore? Something to chew on. Thanks for tuning in.